This is not a story about luxury, it's a story about intention, about what happens when progress is engineered, not improvised. Before Mercedes Benz became a symbol, it was a problem waiting for a solution. In 1886, in Germany, Carl Benz built something the world did not yet have language for, a vehicle that moved without a horse. At the time, that idea sounded unnecessary, even absurd. Why replace something that already worked? There was no elegance in the machine, no comfort, no prestige. Only an engine, a frame, and the belief that mobility could be reinvented. At the same time, in a different workshop, Gottlieb Daimler was chasing the same answer. Not how to impress people, not how to sell the future, but how to make machines work better, faster, more reliably, more precisely. There was no brand, no vision deck, no audience, only engineers and long nights of trial and failure. People didn't immediately understand what they were seeing. The machines were loud, unstable, difficult to control. But history rarely recognizes revolutions in the moment. It recognizes them later. Years passed, engines improved, confidence grew. What began as experimentation slowly became direction. In the early 1900s, the name Mercedes appeared, not as a calculated decision, not as positioning, but as a personal name. A human name attached to a machine. A reminder that technology should serve people, not intimidate them. By 1926, two independent paths merged into one. Benz, Daimler, Mercedes Benz. Not to dominate the market, not to flood the streets, but to define a standard. From the beginning, the philosophy was clear. Don't build the cheapest car, don't build the loudest car, build the best one. Even if it takes longer, even if fewer people understand it, and let time decide if you were right. Mercedes-Benz did not grow by chasing trends. It grew by setting expectations. In the 1930s, the name became associated with precision. In the 1950s, with safety. In the 1960s, with engineering leadership. While others focused on appearance, Mercedes focused on structure. Crumple zones, anti-lock braking systems, airbags, not introduced as selling points, not announced with spectacle but built in as responsibility. Many technologies we now consider standard appeared first in a Mercedes. Quietly, methodically. Then came war. Factories were destroyed, cities were erased, but the idea survived. When rebuilding began, the philosophy returned with it. Engineering first, everything else follows. By the 1970s and 1980s, Mercedes-Benz became a global reference. If something was compared, it was compared to a Mercedes. Not because it was fashionable, but because it was trusted. These cars were not designed to impress for a moment. They were designed to endure. Engines built to outlive owners. Doors that close with intention. Controls that feel familiar even decades later. When the world accelerated, Mercedes focused on stability. When luxury became louder, Mercedes chose restraint. Because real confidence does not chase attention, it attracts it. Even performance followed the same rule. AMG was not chaos. It was power with discipline, speed with control. Today, the world looks different. Electric platforms, digital interiors, autonomous systems. But the core question remains unchanged. Does it work better? Does it last longer? Does it deserve the name? The best or nothing. Not as arrogance, as commitment. Because Mercedes-Benz was never about excess. It was about confidence, the kind that doesn't need explanation. From the first automobile in 1886 to the silent vehicles of today, Mercedes-Benz did not follow progress. It built it. And that is why true luxury is not noise. It is precision. If you enjoyed this story, subscribe for more journeys behind the world's greatest brands. Stories about vision, discipline, and ideas that shape history. Because the strongest empires are not built overnight, they are engineered.